prosperity blueprint. The prosperity blueprint. The prosperity blueprint. The prosperity blueprint.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Prosperity Blueprint. We're live tonight from the grand city of Las Vegas. Glad to be here with each and every one of you. We are here in week 4 of the Prosperity Blueprint, and those of you that have been following along know that this is a real conversation for a real time about all things finance, all things business, all things putting you in the readiness to build legacy and generational wealth. So we've had different conversations with different guests. And in week 4, you will always get my input or my perspective about business and the strategies that you can apply to your everyday life that will help you to continue to build out your blueprint. So tonight we're going to talk about business and entrepreneurship. And as we go along, I pray that you guys will ask questions, that you will interact, engage with me tonight, as well as make sure that you stay put and that you hear what I say at the end, because there will be some freebies for you to always get when I'm here in week 4. So thank you for being here on the James H. Glover Network at the Prosperity Blueprint. I'm Dr. Rasheda, your host and your business strategist. So tonight I want to talk about entrepreneurship. Now, this is a laid back conversation. We're just going to talk if that's okay with y'all. Entrepreneurship has been glamorized, but few people talk about the structure that is required to really sustain the success that you want. Yes, you can have the life of your dreams. Yes, you can live the life of your dreams. Yes, you can build the life of your dreams. But how many of you know that's going to take work? Entrepreneurship is sometimes misconceived as self-employment. Is, there's so many things that people say about entrepreneurship that are just simply misconceptions about really what it means to be an entrepreneur. Many people in my family are entrepreneurs. My brother is an entrepreneur. My son, both my daughters are entrepreneurs. They all have either in school and running a business, or they have businesses that they've started that are actively running. And that is it just speaks volumes to who we are as people and what we believe. And so I want to share some of those important things with you all tonight. Many people start businesses to make money, but to be honest with you, if you start a business to make money, it will create stress for your life, because many people that start a business just for the single opportunity to make money often skip the very needed foundation that you must have in order to build a business that works, to build a business that lasts for 5, 10, 15 years. Because the reality of it is, statistics show that most businesses fail within the first 5 years of being structured or being put into activation. Business ownership is just not about income or revenue. It's about systems. It's about stewardship. It's about leadership and sustainability. If you're going to build a business that is going to be successful, that's going to have a successful foundation, that's going to be scalable, and that is going to grow, you must have all of these keys. In the world of network marketing, they've said it many times, and we've learned it through the process of time. Those of us that have entered into those relationships learn that systems just means that you want to save yourself time, energy, and money. And that is the need for a system. But when you skip that and you skip over it, you put a lot of stress on yourself, because you are busy chasing the next dollar, trying to figure out where the next revenue or income is going to come from, when in actuality, a business is just like a house, and anything else that you're building, any other relationship that you build, must have a strong foundation. So the first point I want to bring out to you guys is that everyone wants the income, but few build the infrastructure. Again, we talk about this being a prosperity blueprint. What's the reason for having a blueprint? It's so that you can build something that is going to be sustainable, that's going to last, and that's going to have a firm foundation. When we look around at the world today and we look at where most of us spend our time and energy, maybe our downtime and energy, I should put it that way, we may be scrolling on social media. Many of you are here because you're either watching me on Facebook or you're on YouTube, because social media has made a lot of things, not just entrepreneurship, but social media has made making money look easy. But in order to make money, there has to be grind, there has to be grit, there has to be work that goes behind it. Many of the businesses that I consult with, that I interact with, are operating without the proper structure, without tax planning, without systems, without processes, even without financial discipline. Just knowing how to make money is not enough to have the sustainability that it's going to take, that will put you in a place to have a business that lasts for 10, 20, and 30 years. Right now, I have a company. I work for a company that is 43 years old. I own a company that is 18 years old. So maybe there's a little bit of information or knowledge that you all will catch tonight that will help you to find that place of sustainability, structure, and growth. A business without structure will eventually become overwhelming instead of profitable. Many people are overstimulated and overwhelmed simply by the business that they love, that they wanted to start, because they are not exercising financial discipline. They don't have systems in place or processes. I have worked with some companies that, you know, were making money hand over fist, is the way we say it, making money hand over fist, but without a proper structure. So what happened? Making money hand over fist without a proper structure puts you in position for the IRS to come and take every bit, to take it all, take all the money that you made because you didn't prepare before that by having a plan or a process. Everything takes a strategy. You can't, you know, it's just like, you know, knowing how to swim. You probably should know how to swim before you jump in the deep end of the pool. And that's the same way it is with starting a business. You want to know where you're going, or you want to have a plan for where you're going before you actually head out in that direction. Now, honestly, I'm going to be very frank with you. Most entrepreneurs just start and they build a plane while it's flying. But what happens is they put people on the plane that can help them to create a sustainable structure, so that when they get on their way to the destination while they're building this plane, it takes off and it continues to go, and they grow it in the air. It sounds like something phenomenal, like rocket science, but even building a plane that is already taken off is a far-fetched scenario for most of us to consider. But in the mind of entrepreneurs, they never think. Most of them just jump and they go, and then they're like, hey, come get on this plane and help me, you know, get to the next place that I'm going to, the next destination. So it still took a blueprint. They still wrote out plans, but many times, because entrepreneurs are, let's say, we can be eccentric, and impatient, and if we're creative, forget about it. We are trying to figure out how to get the building built and put no foundation, no structure, anything. But that goes back to the systems and the processes, and putting the right people and implementing the right strategy as you're going. It's a bad idea to build a plane while it's flying. But there are, you know, few entrepreneurs that have found success in doing that. But what they get to is a point that they're 18, 19, 20 years old, and they have absolutely no system in place, which leaves you in a position to not have a succession plan. Instead of having the idea of starting a business to make income, you should have in your mind that I'm going to start this business to exit it. Yeah, I had to let that resonate. You want to start a business to be able to do what? Get out of it, to exit it. Like, I was in this 3-hour meeting just a few minutes ago, and it was 3 hours. It was supposed to be an hour and a half. It took 3 hours. And all I kept saying is, tell me how to get out of here. Like, what is, you know, like, I just want to know, when is this going to be over? You know, by now I've gotten annoyed. I am not as patient as I usually am with people. Once I have gotten to the point that I have had enough of what you're doing or what you're talking about, this is over. This conversation is over. When we look at it from that perspective, there was a tactic implemented to keep me there talking to me because they wanted to sell me something. And that is good, fine, and dandy. But when I've already made a decision, yeah, I'm gonna buy this watch that you're selling, but I want to know, how much does it cost? You don't need, once I'm already sold, you can stop selling me. But I'm talking to people that are chasing or looking for the income and not necessarily implementing a true system that's going to work, because it does not work with everybody. It's not even a 50% foolproof system to just talk people until they are annoyed and tired with you. So with all of that being said, make sure that you have a place that you want to be, a destination that you want to get to, but you want to start a business with the plan to exit it. Exiting means selling it. It means passing it on to the next generation. It means creating a succession plan. It means leaving a legacy for your children's children, if in fact that's the type of business that you have designed, orchestrated, or put in place. The next thing I want to talk to you guys about is tax strategy. It's not just for the wealthy. When you look at having a business, you want to think about taxes on the front end and not on the back end. Most business owners think about taxes too late, when it's too late, when you already got a huge bill, you already put yourself in a position where you're scratching your head, you overwhelmed, you scared and tired, you think the IRS is coming like Men in Black to your front door to get you. Most people get on my implementation or my strategy call and ask me if they're in trouble. They want to know if they're going to jail. Why do we think like that? Because we don't think about taxes as part of the strategy. We think about it when it's too late. When in fact, the structure that you choose for your business has everything to do with the taxation that you will have to face in the season of taxes. Tax preparation and tax strategy are not the same thing. So you may be sitting down with your tax preparer that you've been with for up 10 years. Your grandma used them, your granddaddy, your aunts, your uncles, everybody, and you've been going to Mr. Joe all of these years, and he's just preparing your taxes. But in order for you to have a strategy implemented for your business, you have got to sit down with a professional that will help you to understand your entity structure, your business credits, your business deductions, and understanding that credits and deductions are not the same thing. Credits are dollar for dollar, and deductions are structured on a table. How do you pay yourself properly? Do you keep copious notes and records? Are you keeping your books, or has record keeping been implemented? And then there should be profit planning that's a part of your tax strategy. Those of you that are entering into entrepreneurship or you're already in it, you should be discussing the LLC versus the S Corp conversation with your tax strategist. Why mixing personal businesses, personal money, and business money creates confusion. Not only that, it commingles. We say commingling, but it's just like you putting oil and vinegar in the same bottle and then trying to get it to mix. It creates confusion. It never mixes. And then it can also put you in an orange jumpsuit that you have to wear every single day. Now that's a good way to go to jail, is to mix your business finances with your personal finances. It's not readily advised at all. And then there is the importance in bookkeeping. You've got to keep record. You've got to keep notes. You've got to know where your money is going and what you're doing with it. I have had to have conversations with business owners that have been business owners for 20 years and tell them you cannot take your business credit card and go, or debit card, neither one, and go to Kroger and buy groceries for your house. We don't do that. We pay ourselves the money we make from our business into our personal account, and then we use the money the same way if you go to work, your employer pays you in your personal account, and then you use that money for your everyday living. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, you've got to treat your business like a business. You cannot build wealth from disorganized finances. You have to be able to tell money where to go so that it doesn't tell you where to go. Can't do it. You just can't do it. The next thing I want to talk to you guys about is profitability versus appearance. A lot of times, again, social media has put it out there, made it look easy. We have a lot of hope and a lot of expectation in what appears to be success. But success for you as an entrepreneur is really what you decide that it is. I don't find that, yes, in your bank account, you can be wealthy, you can have money coming out your ears and all your orifices, but you still can be poor. because success is what you determine it to be. Success, riches, and wealth for me have everything to do with the amount of free time I have to spend with my family. Has everything to do with that. And then what are the things that we can implement and we can do in that free time? Looking successful and being financially healthy are two different things. We can look successful, we can wear the Chanel, we can wear the Gucci, the Uchi, and the Ouchie. We can do all of that, but that does not mean that may be someone else's equation of success. As a matter of fact, that equation of success has to do everything with the owner. So let's look at current events. What just happened in this time? So people went and they got the AP Swatch collaboration watch. If you were watching the news, it was a great marketing ploy. It was a great decision. It was phenomenal to have people camp out, swarm stores like they used to do back in the late 2000s for Black Friday. Storm stores to buy a plastic watch because it is a multi-thousand-dollar watch and a hundreds of dollar watch collaboration coming together with a unique looking timepiece that's still made out of plastic. Yes, it has Swiss movement, but it's yeah. So anyway, when we look at that, the appearance of that watch, because of that collaboration with that very expensive brand, is now the look of success that some will take on. Those that resold it or that are reselling it for thousands and thousands of dollars are making out like bandits, right? But those that are buying it and spending that kind of money for something that is not quite worth the investment may see that as a measure of success, when in actuality, the only success that is being enjoyed is by AP and Swatch. Being financially healthy means that you are making decisions about your money and where it should go. I told a young lady, she asked me some personal questions today in that meeting. I said, the thing that you have to be conscious of is where your money's going and what you're doing with it. There's impulse buys that we as women, we have it. Ladies, I'm going to give our secret out. Y'all just chill, okay? Don't be mad at me. Impulse buys usually have to do with makeup, bags, shoes, or clothes. That's usually an impulse buy. But an impulse buy usually is not in the excess of $2,000. Even if we're going to buy the Louis Vuitton or we're going to buy the Gucci, it is a well thought out purchase. We already knew that it was maybe on a vision board, or it was something we wanted for Christmas or for our birthday. It was not something that we were just walking through Gucci and like, "Ooh, I want this." Because most entrepreneurs, especially women that have the habit of impulse buying, have already made a decision about what it is that they want when they walk into that type of store. When we're bringing it back home to entrepreneurship, some businesses scale too fast without systems, and scaling too fast without a system leaves you in a position to crumble. When you look at it, overspending comes into play. We overspending in business, branding without budgeting, hiring before infrastructure exists. And that's the one I want to put my toe on right now with y'all. A lot of times, well, we either hire or we don't hire, but those that are entrepreneurs that are in a business that must hire or has the consideration to hire, warning. Your payroll will be the most expensive expense that you have. Not only that, when we not even having personal feelings, right? Just the fact that you hire people, you feel the obligation as an owner to ensure that they get paid. My assistant and anybody that watches this podcast will tell you that the last thing I want to do is owe people. When there is somebody that has done the work, and they have put the time in, the first thing I tell her is pay them. Pay people, give people their money. I don't like for people to ask me about money or where it is. I am meticulous about every single dime, percentage, whatever it is, making sure that it goes to the place that it needs to go. So when you hire before your infrastructure exists, you put yourself in a position to not only have personal stress, but business stress. You got the stress of making sure that your people are fed and taken care of. And then your business is taking on the burden that is caused by the finances when it comes to hiring, or it comes to when it comes to payroll and what needs to be paid out. Some businesses don't have an income problem, they have a management problem. And you, as an entrepreneur, you are the manager. You are the manager. You are everything, all the way down to the janitor. So these things have to be considered. Overspending must be considered. Branding without budgeting must be considered. And you must make sure that you don't hire before the infrastructure is in place. And I'll say this too. What I was talking about in the first segment, when you have an older company that kind of, the entrepreneur built the plane while it was flying, you will find most of the time that they did a whole lot of hiring and there was no infrastructure. So there are still gaps and places where people are needed. I call it butts in seats. And I am literally interviewing for the company that I work for now, and I'm finding it hard to find great candidates and put the butts in the seats. And the other thing is that some of the departments that I want to hire in, I am hesitant to bring people into that department because the standard operating procedures are not in place. There are things that need to be done that have not been completed yet, which are another part of major responsibilities that I have for this employer. So when you look at it, that's part of the infrastructure. When I say standard operating procedures, or SOPs, when you own a business, if something happens to you as the key man, the person that is next in line should be able to pick up everything that you're doing and do it step by step. And that's where you should write out your standard operating procedures and your structures. It's just like, if you think about it, McDonald's, right? Or the McDonald's brothers, they created the standard operating procedure, they created the system, and then other people continue to duplicate it. But if you walk into a McDonald's here in Las Vegas, or you walk into a McDonald's in Los Angeles or in Fort Lauderdale, they operate by the same standard operating procedure. And if you are going to scale and grow your business, people should understand the blueprint of the rules and how you run that business. Again, some don't have an income problem. They literally have a management problem. And we as entrepreneurs have to take accountability for making sure that we're every person before we begin to hire people into a place that doesn't have infrastructure. Now, why do we, the next thing I want to talk to you guys about, I want to touch on quickly, is systems. Systems save yourself time, energy, and money. System, right? Systems create freedom. What are we working for? Remember, I told you, me personally, it's not all about the income. Success looks like freedom for me. Looks like time that I have to spend with my family. It looks like being able to travel and to go and to come and to go as I please. And that is what systems do for my business. My assistant could run my business 100% without me because there is a system in place. Systems reduce stress. Business owners, you have to be everything when you first start as an entrepreneur, but you cannot be all things. You have to be everything, but you can't be all things. And I mean, you have to be the manager down to the janitor. But when it comes to physically doing the work, when you are the manager down to the janitor, you're creating the system. You're creating the resource that allows other people to be able to step in and do the job by simply reading instructions, as opposed to you having to basically give them what it is that you know. Although you have to do some training, and SOP is so important. It tells people how to follow the structure, standard operating procedure. You want to have calendars in place. Time management is so important. Time management goes hand in hand with customer service. It talks about your business. It tells it tells other people who you are before you actually enter the room. I am a stickler about being on time. And especially as business owners, we have business to do. You don't want to have people waiting for meetings, waiting to show up at meetings, or you're late on a delivery. It's just it is just bad. Like, I don't like to hear I'm sorry when you could have managed your time to be where you needed to be. Calendars are important. The next thing that is important when we talk about systems, SOPs, calendars, delegation, being able to let it go. One of the biggest problems with most entrepreneurs is they are afraid to release the baby, to let it go, to delegate and allow those that have learned the process, that understand what should be done, how to do the business. Delegation is so important. The next, ouch, is right? The next thing is automation, putting systems in place that automate your process. So there are so many. And what I dislike about calling out their names is that I'll call out the name of something you can use to automate your business, but then you may just go and buy it, have a subscription, and not have the follow-up that's needed to actually learn the system. So when you come in to sit with me, I literally am going to give you the system and then teach you how to use it. The next thing is consistency. Whatever you do, in all things, be consistent. Do everything in redundancy and consistency. Do it over and over and over again and be consistent about it. These are the systems that create freedom for your life. When you don't have systems, you risk, again, I'll say it again, being overwhelmed. You risk burnout. You risk, just giving up and wanting to give up simply because you're stressed out about your business because you don't have a system. Automation, I got to go back to it. Automation is the best thing since sliced bread. When you do one thing, it triggers something else to happen automatically that you have to set it up one time, spend the time, the hours setting it up, and then it works on its own. Systems also increase profitability. If you don't have to be every single place, every single time, if you don't have to send the email or the text message, if it is on an automation, it can increase the amount of money that you make. People are more likely to click on something that you text to their phone, as well as an email, if you have the consistency. We know that it takes people seven times to touch and see what it is that you're selling before they actually make a decision. And this is why being organized matters. Organization matters in profitability and in creating systems. You guys want to do that. If your business cannot function without you being there every single second, you don't own a business yet. You own a job. And I'm going to say that again. If your business cannot function without you being there every single second, every single day, in every single place, you don't own a business yet. You own a job. And the last thing I'm going to talk to you guys about before we sign off and I head out to my next appointed place with my brother is that who is an entrepreneur, is that leadership and legacy matter. Leadership is more than just giving directions. It's way more than micromanaging. It's way more than what my brother said. The man was microaggressive. It's way more than being microaggressive with people that you delegated to. It really is. Leadership is not just being the owner of the company. Strong leadership requires you being able to accept when you're wrong, accountability, having good communication skills, having a vision that you can write. Because what does the word say in Habakkuk 2:2? It says, write the vision and make it plain that they that read it will run with it. Even God spoke to the prophet and told you to create a standard operating procedure so that they that read it can run with the vision. Y'all look at that. And then discipline. Strong leadership requires accountability, communication, vision, and discipline. Without one in that whole equation, you are setting yourself up for disappointment. Write the vision and make it plain that they that read it will run with it. If you put the operating procedure in place, the systems and the automation, you can then delegate to the people that will run with it. You were not to write the vision and run with it. That was never should have been in the plan. You want to build a business. When we talk about leadership and legacy, I always mention the Hiltons, and it's funny, that's what everybody goes to. We mentioned Paris Hilton's great great grandfather, who she never met. She knew what his name was and who he was, because he built a business that outlived himself. Generational wealth comes through ownership. We have to own something in order for it to be passed on. We can't just own a vision, a thought, or a process. We've got to actually physically take possession of the land in order to create generational wealth. Teaching the next generation business literacy is so vitally important. Teach your children's children how to be entrepreneurs. Teach them how to work for themselves. It's okay to work for someone else, but you also should always have your own business, either that you are planning, structuring, putting together, or that you're already running. Don't give somebody 40 hours a week and then not put another additional 10 or 20 in your own vision every single week. Legacy is not what you leave people, it's what you prepare them to carry on or to sustain. And the only way that it can be sustained is that you that started it created it with a firm foundation. You built the infrastructure, you put the systems and the automations in place with vision, discipline, and consistency. So I'm getting ready to go. This has been my time tonight on the prosperity blueprint. And it's time for the Let's Be Honest segment. Let's be honest. A lot of people want the title of entrepreneur. Social media has made it look amazing, made it look glamorous. Even when people are clicking on my prayers up, wheels up, they just like, oh my gosh, you're always gone. Oh my gosh, right? But the thing about it is that people want the title. They even want the position, but they're avoiding the discipline that is required to build a successful business. Prosperity is not built on hustle alone. Hustle is part of it, right? I joke about grinding. I've been grinding all my life, right? That's part of it, but that's not all of it. You need the structure. You need the stewardship, meaning you understand that you don't own anything, that God gave you the idea, the vision, and you're just supposed to take very good care of it and steward it. And then there's consistency. And if you truly want freedom, let's be honest, you have to build a business that works, not just a business that looks good on social media. This is the Prosperity Blueprint, where we are mastering life and money. And remember, success without structure is temporary, but a strong foundation creates a lasting legacy and prosperity for you and your children's children. God bless you. We'll see you guys on next week, same time, same channel. If you would like to be a guest on the Prosperity Blueprint or Dating While Anointed, click the link. You will go to the link and make an appointment. That is your pre-screening for the podcast. Set an appointment time with me. Come and talk to me behind the scenes so that you can have the interview that is going to speak to who you are as an individual. Join me on the Prosperity Blueprint or Dating While Anointed. We'll see you around on the James H. Glover Studios.
Hello. Thank you for watching another episode on James H. Glover Network. We appreciate you for all of your love, all of your support, and all of your just comments. Now what I need y'all to do is, like it says right here, like and subscribe. Also, I need y'all to share, and I need y'all to tag, and I need y'all to turn on that notification bell over here on YouTube. That lets YouTube know that you like content like this. On behalf of everyone here at the network, we appreciate you, because we couldn't release content the way that we do without your support. So as I always say, sometimes our disappointments are nothing more than God's appointments, meaning some things that we look at as bad, God is only turning it around for our good. Stay blessed, be blessed, and be a blessing to someone else. And I'll see y'all on the next episode. Peace.